So we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about something different. It's about strategy and transformation. So I'm part of the executive board of a bank that is of a banking group that is operating in Central Eastern Europe. We have headquarters in Vienna. Here you see some of the numbers. Just to give you a feeling, this is about a large organization, retail and corporate. Today we mainly talk about retail, and the challenge for us was and is today to transform our organization, making sure that we are ready and fit for what the customer expect and want in the next years. Now, I was reflecting on what I heard before, where they were still customers are wondering and they are concerned about giving their data out. Well, we have for our own customers, and there are 16 million, this is not little, we have a different problem. Every time we do survey and ask, would you like your bank or would you like to give permission? That's exactly happened after GDPR. So we ask our own customer to give permission for the utilization of their data. And the majority of them say, I thought you have already access. Why do you ask? You are my bank, you already have access, why do you ask? And I think this is the opportunity incumbent bank like ours and many other incumbent banks in the region have. We have data of our customers, we have the explicit, in many cases, implicit permission for most of them to use it. We just have to make good use of it, and that's not easy. It's about execution, and it's definitely not easy. But what I'm going to talk to you today is, next 15 minutes, it's a bit transformation. So, I'm responsible, as mentioned, for all the digital initiative, or let's say the customer-facing digital initiative in the group. This was until yesterday. From July 1st on, I will also be responsible for the non-customer-facing digital activity in the group, but let's stay focused on this. So, and the biggest customer-facing digital activity is one platform. So basically in 2015, we launched a platform first in Austria, and then we rolled it out across the group. This is one application, one digital platform that we operate across all our bank. All our bank have completely different IT systems, they have different legacies, they have different core banking. We just sit on top, pretty much like a startup, try to suck the data. We are not using PSD2, we can deeply connect to those systems. And we try to build a unified and concrete experience across the region. We have about 500, you get a feeling we have about 500 people in offices, mainly in Vienna, but then Bratislava and Prague. And we are running that platform basically since 15. And now we are building the business version of it as well. Now, the topic which is interesting here is different. So we started, and now I tell you a bit our journey. And I hope everyone can feel the challenge we have been through and we are going to have in the future. So we have built our service, and most of you who work in a large bank knows that digital for bank is about servicing. Digital has always been perceived as, oh, we need to serve our customer. Our customer have digital access. They have internet connection, computers, smartphone, and so on. So it's about digital, and it's about digital servicing. So we're talking about supporting. We're talking about digital is one of the many channels we have. We're talking about, banking is a trust and relationship business. Therefore, the real business still happens with people in the branches. You know this in Germany. We know this in many parts of Europe. I've been hearing this from my own organization for many years. And that's the way we have been be able to embark into this organization. But we have made a major decision last years. And that's the strategy I'm going to talk to you today. And basically, we say digital is becoming relationship. If you look at all the numbers and all the metrics we are measuring today, all our customer, or let me put it the other way around, all our active customer equal all our profitable customers are already digital driven. They build relationship through digital channels. So basically, digital is becoming the relationship. And it's true the statement that says banking is about trust and relationship. What we have learned is that digital can be trustful. We have example of digital tool we implement in branches. When customer goes into branch, have a digital advisory tool through a tablet. The tablet is popping up a solution, and we interview customer who said, I trust that solution because it feels more authentic and more honest than the suggestion that the person will give me. So for many people, the software is perceived more objective than a person, because normally the perception was, oh, that person wants to reach his budget, want to sell me a product. The tool doesn't. And so the idea of the business is built on trust and relationship is becoming true for digital. Trust is important, and relationship. You're using the tool, you have this superpower tool in your pocket, and our customer and all of us are using it all the time. Now, I can tell you the same story in consulting term. You have probably heard from the last 15 years, it was all about omni-channel. When I entered banking, I was in a completely different industry. When I entered banking in 2012, it was about omni-channel. The key was omni-channel. And I never really liked omni-channel because it's very expensive. I remember kicking off project in the bank, and the first thing the business unit told me, it has to be omni-channel. And I knew when I hear this statement, it means you can take any budget, multiply by 10. Because omni-channel means everyone needs to be connected to these projects, everything needs to be simply integrated. And guess what? This is expensive. And normally we have no idea if a project is successful or not. So what we do is we spend lots of money to make it omni-channel, then you figure out later the project was not a good idea, then you throw out everything. And so omni-channel for me was always a problem. It was expensive. I think lots of consultants made lots of money with omni-channel. And to be honest, I don't see it working anywhere. I don't know a single company, even global, that have proper omni-channel built. And they have tons of money. So I'm doubting that this is the case, and this is the challenge. So we came across, and we were thinking about what is the next level. And in this case, I have to give credit to one of the big consulting firms who actually at the same time like us came up with a different concept, which we completely embrace. It's called integrated channel. And you see the blue dot over there? That's the middle of the thing. So the idea of integrated channel is that everything goes through the app. No matter what, no matter if you're at home, no matter if you're on traveling, no matter if you're in the branches, everything goes through the app. So the whole thing, the app becomes the orchestration tool for everything. To contact your advisor, to visit the branch, to call the call center, to do your banking, of course. But anything is going through the app, and is only happening once, via the app. Now, we have embraced that, and out of that concept, we try to build a strategy. We call it superhuman, super digital. The point is not, I mentioned in my organization, the point is not human and digital. That's relatively boring. The point is super. It has to be super, no matter what. It has to be great. And so we build that strategy. And there is a little quote I brought in a few months ago. You probably saw it on the internet now. You can see it in Instagram very often. When Jeff Bezos says, if you need to build a strategy, better build it on something that stays consistent over the next years. And we were thinking ourselves, what does not change in retail banking industry in the next 10 years? And we believe that customer preference will keep shifting towards digital channel. This is a no-brainer. This will happen. We see it today. And we are just started, I would say. Customer will continue to need help and for topics around their financial needs. Let's face it, finances are complicated. None of our retail customers are pro on this. It's not their job to be professional, so they will need help. And personalization is critical to ensure relevant and create trust. So get the topic of relationship. Relationship only makes sense and gets trustful when it's personal. Still today, my organization, many other banks around Europe are spamming customer. They have conversion rates. Banks in Europe have conversion rates like you would be on the internet, 0.8%. This is and you know, beside the fact that on the internet I don't know anyone, nothing that is on the person on the other side. In a bank, I know everything about my customers. Still have conversion rate of 0.8%. So the focus is to become personal and becomes relevant. And I think if we build our strategy out of these three things that we believe will not change over the next 10 years, then I think we can create something substantial. And we have identified in our group six principle. We call it principle not because it's a fancy word, simply because we could have called it the pillar of our strategy or the focus of our strategy. We call them principle because normally principles are not negotiable. And in an organization like ours, it's very important to stick some pole on the ground and say, well, this pole is not moving. And if you're not agreeing with that, well, look for something else. And they are very simple. Digital first means everything goes through our platform, which is called George. Mobile is the king. There is no question around it. So whatever we build, they need to enter in this little space over there. Convenience will win the race. And what we mean with convenience, we don't mean cheap, but we mean the easiest way to get somewhere. You know, very often in banking, and there is a lot of work in the industry we need to do on our fees and prices. But in general, very often they consider convenience just as a matter of price, and I think this is very misleading. When we mean convenience, we mean if you do banking with me, then it's easier to get access to a lot of services. And the more banking you do with me, the more personal I can be on delivering and rendering my services. Relevance through personalization, that's what we talked before. And around this strategy, we are very much spending quite a lot of time in data and data management. Only digital champions survive. This is mainly to target at our people, our staff. We learn through our surveys that our frontline is not even as digital as our own customer in some cases. So our customers are more digital than our frontline. So we need to train our customers. And of course, the challenge is you need to train them and explain them that digital will not kill their job. And if they're going to be successful with digital transformation on their customer base, doesn't mean that they're not out of business tomorrow. And that's the biggest challenge you can imagine. It's a survival challenge for them, and not only us. Most of the banks around that have a large branch network, we almost have 2,000 in the region, are dealing with that challenge. And the last one, which I believe is maybe the one that looks more further, I believe that if we implement our strategy right, in 10 years from now, digital maturity will not be a differentiator anymore. All the banks that will still be in the market in 10 years from now will be digital mature. It's a no-brainer. So what will make the difference? What makes you different than someone else? And we believe a certain level of personal experience, it's exactly what will make a difference. So digital will not be the differentiator anymore. And therefore, I believe that a certain level of physical experience, trust, brand, but also personal advisory on a certain high level, high quality, not often, but maybe once, twice, maybe 3 times a year in the maximum, it will make a difference. And that's pretty much the framework, our principle for our strategy. Now, I will spend a few time on this slide because when I presented this strategy in the group, and well, there were lots of questions, as you can imagine. And the questions were very simple. So how about customers who do not have a smartphone? And we have many. Today we are basically talking about lots of the talks I heard today is about digital and startups. There is still part of our community and society they're still managing, and often they are the old one and probably even the profitable one. They're still managing their life in a relatively analog way, right? And so the big question came is, what about people who don't have a smartphone? Well, in our strategy, or the way we are running this operation and this bank today, if you enter a branch and you don't have a smartphone, you will be able to do your services through a smartphone of the advisor. They will take a smartphone, they will log into your banking application. So the advisor will guide you through, and you will do this together with them. And so no one, in our strategies, no one will be left out. It's just that you're using the same tool together with the support advisor or the people in the branches that you would use if you would do it yourself. In some area, we see that then customer gets confidence and they will probably maybe buy a device, or if they have already a device that they don't use, they will start using it for banking as well. The other big question is about what about customers who do not want to use digital services? And it's true, we have many, especially in Austria. Austria, I think, is similar than Germany. They are very conservative, and some people believe that digital banking is insecure. They believe that loading their current account in their phone and leaving the phone at the bar means that people will steal all their money. They also believe that the desktop is not as insecure as a smartphone. I have plenty of people who believe that desktop is secure, but smartphone is insecure, without understanding that actually the level of security is pretty much the same. But their mindset is, well, no one will steal my computer from my desk at home. But I go around with my phone all the time, and I may leave it at the bar or at the tax station or the bus station or in the bus, and they will steal all my money. These are the same people who also believe that if you give your IBAN to someone, they will be able to take money out of your account. And so we have to deal with this, because this is not a minority. This is still a large chunk of customer. And if you have friends or yourself work in a bank and you go in there, they will probably figure out this is the guy who has the money, not the young fancy one. That's where we make most of our money. They're rich, they have savings, they make investments, and they don't bother about the fees. And so we have to take care about giving confidence, and that's where trust and relationship becomes really the key. About customers who don't want to use digital, well, my answer is very simple. They will eventually die one day, and the other minority, we don't care. And I'm always not to look too cynical. I always say, look, my mother is the same. She also doesn't have a smartphone, and she will eventually die because she's very old. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's normal. I hope this is going to be very late, but we have to face it, right? She's still taking her card, going to the ATM, gets the cash out. Another question I've been asked all the time, or challenge I've been asked all the time is, what about complex products? It's true, you don't put a complex advisory product or a life insurance or something on a smartphone, especially if those products are highly personalized. So in this case, we have developed a tablet version of our platform, so that's what you will get in the branches. One thing we have learned by putting a digital experience in the branches, basically the experience you get in Romania, in Czech Republic, in Slovakia, and in Hungary, and now we are starting from last summer in Austria as well, is you go to a meeting, they put a tablet in between. In Austria we have a screen, in the other country we have a tablet in between, and you basically go through the servicing, the journey together. What we have learned is incredible. 3 things. First, if you know how we have built retail banking in this region for the last 30 years, you know that we did not only hire the best people on the ground. We have great advisors, but we also have very average advisors. The beauty of the tablet is that they follow the process, and so you define the minimum standard. Normally, great advisors, they're able to add on top their quality, so they make the experience even better. And cheap or very low quality advisor, they reach a minimum standard that delivers a much better service for the customer. That's number 1. So uplifting the quality of our advisory services. Number 2 is customer feel transparency. I don't know if you have experienced that. I mean, most of you don't go to branches, but if you go to branches in Germany, but in many places, also Italy, you have a meeting, you sit on a desk, and what you see is cables. Because the advisor here on the desk, there is a computer with a screen, and you see cables. From the whole meeting, you see cables. And so the idea of putting this tablet in between is transparency. And what we notice, we have recording of this, that customers start asking why there is this red dot. Why I'm red on this? We are looking at the financial of a customer through basically the financial well-being principles. So you look at liquidity, you look at emergency saving, you look at protection, and you look at future investment, right? And if they see a red dot, they don't like it. They say, why there is a red dot here? What can I do to get green? Or sometimes you show orange. What do I do to get green? And so that relationship is really helping much to understand how the process works. So, complex product, tablet solution. How about the long tail of universal retail banking use cases? This is a very interesting topic. When we started to build a digital platform, we had to basically shut down all the local solutions we had in the group. We had 7 countries. We had to shut down 7 solutions and migrate everyone into one big solution. And so the rule for the team was we only take over functionality that are used by 80% of people, and we only take over those ones. The other we don't take over. And in reality, universal banking is full of edge cases, little functionality, and it's important that you offer the service. How do you cover this? How can we solve that? We use AI. So we are currently building within our platform another platform, so a platform in a platform, then is taking care about customer-facing AI. So basically, we're using a conversational interface to cover all the features we don't want to build as interfaces. If you can imagine, we build a platform for desktop, iOS, and Android. So every time there is a project, we need to build it 3 times. If I would start the project today, probably I would use one of these platforms that you do one code and then you output to the different platforms, but we are too late for that. The source code is too big. We evaluate it. It's very complicated. So we are building it 3 times. And the idea is this: for long tails, we're using a conversational interface. So you want that feature, you click on that feature, there is an assistant coming and say, okay, you want to get that feature executed, okay, tell me how you want to set it, you set it on the conversation interface, and then basically either we execute it right away or we send it over to a back office to execute it. With this strategy, we think we will be able to digitalize the whole bank, even very nitty-gritty functionality that at the moment we are only taking care about in the branches. And the beauty of it is we do it once. Business can do it by themselves by creating a decision tree chatbot. We're using OpenAI for that, or some other tool for that. And we think we can cover everything. Now, these are just some of the questions I've been trained to answer over the last year by implementing and selling this strategy to my colleagues. Normally I end those questions by saying, how about stop finding reason why something may not work and actually start transforming our business for tomorrow's world? That's something normally very cynical people in the bank who simply don't want to move any step left or right or ahead or behind. They don't take it. I conclude normally my meeting with this statement. They take it nicely and they realize the time for questioning is over. It's time for action now. We are builder and we need to continue to build. So thank you. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy.